Whether new shooter, longtime gun owner, or even police officer or soldier, your handgun needs a Crimson Trace laser sight or light. Get the confidence and reliability you need to protect family, home, and country. Crimson Trace.
Today on Gun Talk, Chris Kyle was called the devil by the enemy and the legend by his U.S. Navy SEAL brothers. Tom talks with the co-author of the book American Sniper. Also, a service that offers legal protection to gun owners in the great state of Texas, and the 411 on maintaining and modifying the P-Series Sig Sauer. Plus, you can call Tom with your comments and your questions. One Tom Talk Gun will get you in. Now, here's Tom.
Well, good afternoon to you. Tom Gresham here. We are going to be talking about guns for hours and hours. Having some fun today. Glad you could join us. If you have a friend or a neighbor or a relative who you think might be interested, tell them, just call them. Say, hey, turn on the radio. You're not going to believe this. We're talking about guns, and it's fun. Of course it is. Shooting is fun. That's one of the things we get caught up in. The politics. We get caught up in the self-defense movement. All of that is good and all of that is necessary. But sometimes we forget to just enjoy the fact that guns are fun to shoot. Going out to the range and shooting is fun, whether you're knocking over tin cans, breaking clay targets, just recreationally shooting, or if you're serious about competition, it doesn't matter. And it's interesting, and I guess this is true for a lot of different things. When you take someone else out and introduce them to your sport, you rediscover some of the things that you loved about it and you kind of forgot. You go, yeah, I like to shoot. But then you see somebody else go, wow, that's fun. And you go, yeah, you're right, it is. So I guess that's just our reminder to ourselves to realize how much fun the shooting sports are and how much fun we can have. And the other thing is, if you find yourself in a rut, remember there are a lot of different ways of shooting. You can do trap, skeet, sporting clays, long-range shooting, IPSC, USPSA, IDPA. Pick something. Go out and try it. Switch it up. If you're a shotgunner, go try handguns. If you're a handgunner, try shotguns or rifles. Doesn't matter. Find something new. Just get out there and pull the trigger. That's really what it's all about. Now, before we get to our guest, I want to tell you, in about roughly 15 minutes, I'm going to tell you something I did yesterday. You know how I feel, probably, about the open carry dolts, the guys who are carrying the long gun, shotguns, and rifles into stores, frightening the clientele, frightening everybody else, and giving a huge PR, public relations, public opinion victory to the gun banners, to the Moms Demand Action groups. These dolts, they're always look like refugees, like homeless people with their grubby clothes and nasty appearance and slovenly look, and they're somehow surprised that carrying an AR or an AK into a store frightens people. Come on, people. This is the ultimate look at me, I'm such a loser, this is the only way I can get attention movement. And it hurts us. So the Moms Demand Action, they're very good at this. They actually are, they're led by a public relations professional. They make use of this. And what they do is they get stores like Chipotle, Starbucks, to issue a statement. They don't actually get the stores to ban guns. They just get them to issue a statement. And the statement, if you read it carefully, what it actually says is, please get these Moms Demand Action people off our backs. So we'll issue this statement, which means nothing, but it gives them a PR leg up. Well, I started a petition on this yesterday. I'll tell you all about it. You know what? We're going to find out just how much people have signed up for and bought into the no shrug policy. We're going to find out if people will actually go on there and just click and say, yeah, I'm going to join this petition. And if they don't and if they won't, they will know. But if you're serious about the no shrug policy, well, we'll give that information in just a few minutes. You probably know Sig Sauer pistols are thought of as being some of the best out there. I mean, we have a lot of great pistols, but I never hear anything bad about SIGs. People just don't say anything bad about SIGs. But as with any gun, you have to maintain it. And as with all guns, there are opportunities for modifications and making them even more cool. Well, joining us to talk about all of that right now is Liam Dillon from Top Gun Supply. Hey, Liam, how you doing?
Pretty good, Tom. How are you doing today?
Well, I am excellent. Now, Top Gun Supply, you're not Sig Sauer, but you are tell people exactly what the company is. And I mean, you guys sell guns.
Yeah, that's true. We sell guns and we sell a lot of accessories for the guns, pretty much all your major brands. Mm-hmm. And but we pride ourselves on our knowledge with Sig Sauer pistols above all else. It's kind of where we got our start. And, we all shoot them, whether for competition or just for fun. And so, we got a lot of experience with these guns.
Okay, Top Gun Supply, for those that want to kind of follow us along, is topgunsupply.com. So when you said, hey, let's talk about maintaining and modifying the P-Series SIGs, we're talking about the P226s, the P220s, all of that, the whole series. If somebody has one of these guns, if you had to say, okay, I've got 30 seconds with you, I got to tell you the most important thing you need to do to take care of your gun, what would it be?
Primarily grease the rails, where the rail on the frame meets the slide, that you have a hard anodized aluminum frame, but then you have a stainless steel, in most cases, slide, and you want to keep those junction points very well lubricated with grease.
When you have dissimilar metals like that, sometimes if they're not well lubed, they can gall and catch. And all it has to do, and this is not just SIGs, this is any gun, all it has to do is slow the slide down ever so slightly, and that can lead to malfunctions. That's
correct. That's true. And, you want to tailor the viscosity of the grease to the climate you live in. What grease may work in Arizona when it's 105 degrees may not be such a good choice when it's 20 degrees in Minnesota.
Now, are we talking about grease or oil here?
Grease. Most SIGs will come with a little tube of Milcom, TW25. It's like a white grease. Mm-hmm. That stuff's excellent. I use it personally quite a bit on my USPSA gun, and there's several other brands out there that'll do the job, but grease is the best choice for the rails.
Okay, so you're using grease here, maybe even a Molly grease, or basically a good gun grease is what you're talking about.
Yes, yeah, any good gun grease. There's a lot of choices out there. It doesn't have to be what the gun's supplied with, but just make sure it's grease.
I'm guessing that pretty much all of the recommendations you have apply to pretty much any handgun, because if it works on a SIG, it's going to work on other guns because it's basic maintenance, right?
Correct. Some guns don't tolerate the grease so well, like a finely tuned 1911 perhaps, but there are, even just like with your automobile, there's a maintenance schedule for these guns, certain springs and other parts that need replaced once you reach a certain number of rounds fired.
Give me an idea. What are we talking about? Is it 5,000, 10,000, 100,000 rounds? When should we start looking at replacing springs?
Yeah, it's up there. It's not quite 100,000, but things like the recoil spring, SIG recommends like every 5,000 rounds. Mm-hmm. Some folks like to change them out sooner, around 3,000. There are some, on the older SIGs, there's retention pins in the slide that hold parts in, and after around 5,000 rounds, they could start getting loose and walking out. Mm-hmm. And even things like decocking lever springs, they all have a life on those about 10,000 rounds.
Okay.
So, the round count's up there. It's a gun that's going to get used a lot, needs this kind of service.
Right.
But it's good to keep them running, tip-top shape. You don't want to have a malfunction at a time that's important.
Well, when you think about it, we always think of our guns as being indestructible, and we all tend to think that way, but it's still just a mechanical device.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a mechanical device, and they have a lot going on. They see a lot of forces and a lot of stresses from the cartridges, being fired, especially your Magnum calibers or hot, 45, 230 grain loads. They make a lot of stress on the moving parts and mechanisms of the gun, sure. And you have to take care to make sure they're all as best as they can be.
Okay, so all right, we're going to lube the rails. What else we got to do? Obviously, I'm thinking you pull the barrel out, you're going to clean the barrel with a bore brush and all of that. What else do we need to do to these guns?
Yeah, let's face it, gun maintenance isn't fun. It's kind of a dirty job with chemicals that smell bad, in some cases are bad for the environment. Nobody likes spending 2 hours cleaning a gun up. But you hit the nail on the head there, keeping the rails greased. I mean, the guns will function when dirty. It's if when they're dry and no lube is when you really have trouble.
Interesting. I mean, yeah. Don't let them get dry. But at the same time, I hear people say, well, don't over-lube it. So how do you know what's too much?
Well, I think it's common sense. You know, if you have the gun in your hand and there's oil dripping off of it and grease oozing out of every pore, you know, you've probably been a little heavy-handed on the application. You know, what would look like a reasonable amount? And something I do with my SIGs is when I grease those rails and put the slide back onto the frame, I work it back and forth a few times, and all the excess will kind of come out the back, and I just wipe it off.
So if you're shooting it and you got to end up cleaning your shooting glasses because you're spraying oil and grease all over yourself, that's probably too much.
Yeah, you've put too much on there.
And we laugh, but you know, I think probably all of us have done that at some time where we just lubed the heck out of it, sprayed it, you know, oiled it down, went out and shot it, and we're slinging oil all over the place.
Yeah, and you know, if you have nice wooden grips on your pistol, you know, some of the SIG semi-autos come with real nice wooden grips. You can actually ruin them by over soaking them in oil. The wood swells and causes problems as well.
Okay. Well, what about modifications? I mean, this is maintenance, but there are things you can do to kind of trick out your gun. What kind of options do we have?
Well, a real popular thing we're seeing on the P-Series guns is to go to the E-squared grip kit. Traditionally, the P-Series guns will have a left and a right side grip panel. And for some folks, you know, these guns need to fit people of all shapes and sizes, and some folks have smaller hands. So SIG came out with this E-squared grip that's a one-piece unit. It snaps over the frame, and it reduces the size of the grip and makes it a little more ergonomic. So we're getting a lot of requests for those, both in the storefront and online. And that's a real easy modification. The parts are under $50. And we have video on YouTube if folks want to do it at home. It's something, if you have any kind of mechanical ability, you could comfortably do that modification at home.
Okay, so you just buy the kit and follow the instructions you got on the YouTube video, and you can do it right there on your kitchen table.
Yeah, absolutely. You might, you know, wear some safety glasses. There's some springs under tension there. I think we've all had that instance where it launches out into the room and you have no idea where it went. So.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, put on your safety glasses or your shooting glasses anytime you're handling springs. That's a good point. Let me ask you a question. I hear people, they ask me all the time, how about shock buffers for recoil springs? And the manufacturers I've talked to generally say we don't recommend them because we don't think our guns need them. What do you think?
Well, I know that's popular with a lot of 1911s. You know, Wilson Combat, they make a little package of those shock buffers. I've never really seen them utilized on a SIG P-Series gun at all, really. I've only ever seen...
Yeah, it's primarily a 1911 deal.
Yeah, I think so. I'm not even aware of any companies that manufacture them for the P-Series.
Okay. All right. Well, then, all right. So we've maintained it. We've lubed it. We took care of it. Now we've got a possible mod here with our E-Series grip. What else? Oh, I know what I was going to ask you. And this, I don't know if you guys have this. Aftermarket barrels. Is anybody doing like threaded barrels so you could? Because there's a lot of interest in suppressors.
Yeah, you know, we do carry quite a few aftermarket barrels, as well as factory barrels from Sig Sauer. Probably our most popular would be the Barstow barrels. Those are the ones we have are not threaded. They're conversion barrels, which is a real popular thing with the SIGs as well. You know, if you buy a 226 in 40 caliber, let's say, you can buy a conversion barrel and fire 9mm out of it. You just need the barrel, the magazines, and the recoil spring. And the same thing with the 229 series. You know, if you buy a 357 SIG and you want to shoot 40 out of it, you know, you just get the conversion barrel and you can do that.
Sweet. That is nice.
Yeah.
I know you got other information. Flexible. You got more information on the website, topgunsupply.com.
Yes, they're all up there.
Okay, good deal. So I'll tell you what, if folks will just go to topgunsupply.com, they can see all of the accessories you have for the SIGs, all of that. And then, of course, you've got your YouTube videos also.
Yeah, we're working on those. We're working on getting some more videos up there, both of us shooting and doing modifications on the guns themselves.
Sounds good. Listen, I really appreciate it, Liam. Appreciate all your help. And SIG P2, or the P series, really nice guns. And like anything, we can make it better with some modifications and take care of them and keep them clean. All right, appreciate it. Thank you so much, sir. All right, we are open lines now. 866-TALK-GUN, 866-TALK-GUN. When we come back, I'm going to tell you about this petition I started, and we're going to see if we can get some of the heat off of Target and also start exposing these moms groups, this PR group, which is really all it is, a gun banning group that's a PR group. 866-TALK-GUN.
You already know Liberty safes are great values. Now they're offering an even sweeter deal for Gun Talk listeners. At LibertySafe.com, click on the Fat Boy safe and type in Tom. Liberty will give you up to $250 off your purchase. Protect the things you value most. LibertySafe.com, click the Fat Boy safe, promo code Tom, save up to $250. That's LibertySafe.com. LibertySafe.com.
Hi, this is Doug Koenig, professional shooter and winner of over 60 national and world championships. If you shoot an AR, you need to be running the new Sharps Reliabolt. This bolt is amazing. The Reliabolt was fired 7,500 consecutive times by an independent test facility, jam-free. If you need the peace of mind and safety of not worrying about a jam, then buy the Sharps Reliabolt. Sharps Reliabolt is available at srcarms.com and tell them Doug sent you.
If you carry a gun, you need training. Your concealed carry class was definitely not training. But time, money, and obligations keep you from spending days at a shooting school. The trusted folks at Gun Talk can help. Concealed Carry 1, our DVD featuring the VADA Group, covers what gun, what holster, how to carry, where to wear your gun, and much more. Visit shopguntalk.com. That's shopguntalk.com. Look, this really is life and death. Learn how to stay aware, how to get away, and how to fight if you must. At shopguntalk.com, you can get the 2 DVD set, including Fighting with the 1911 with Tiger McKee. No matter what gun you carry, this vital training info can save your life. Learn the draw, the stance, reloading, vital gear from Gun Talk. That's shopguntalk.com. shopguntalk.com.
Tired of overpaying for one concealed carry holster after another that is flimsy, hard to hide, or just plain uncomfortable? At Alien Gear Holsters, less than $30 gets you a professional quality holster that's super stealthy and ultra comfortable. Every Alien Gear holster is backed by a forever warranty, a 30-day test drive, and free shell trades for life in case you buy a different gun. AlienGearHolsters.com. AlienGearHolsters.com.
Sign up for our Gun Talk newsletter and join the Truth Squad at www.guntalk.com. Now, back to Gun Talk with Tom Gresham.
All right, you know how I feel about the open carry idiots. Open carry I'm in favor of. Idiots doing open carry to frighten people, taking their long guns into stores, causing a scene, causing a ruckus, and saying, "But it's my right," I think are idiots. And the reason I say they're idiots, not because of what they do, is because they don't understand the damage they're doing to us. They don't understand that the general public doesn't like that. They frighten the public, and they give a huge public relations win to the anti-gunners. Why does it matter that it's a public relations win? We have the Second Amendment. You only have the Second Amendment until you don't. It's not there forever. It can be taken away. Tom, I can't believe you said that. Yes, it can. And it certainly can be abrogated, which is being done all the time. Public opinion determines what gets passed in the form of laws. If you lose public opinion, you lose in the legislature. If you lose public opinion, you lose in Congress. We already have an uphill battle fighting against the media, which is slanted and biased and anti-gun. And then we have these guys doing this. So this group, this Moms Demand Action, and they're led by a public relations professional, and she's very good at what she does. And she's figured out that there's a PR win. They don't have to actually get a store or a chain to ban guns. They just have to get Starbucks or Chipotle, or they're trying for Target now, to issue a statement that says, please don't bring your guns here. That doesn't make any difference legally. You can still carry your guns there if you could carry before. But what it does do is all the papers and all the TV stations around the country pick it up. And it sounds like a tidal wave of companies that we love, Starbucks, Chipotle, Target, reasonable companies, my favorite place to hang out. I love taking my kids there, blah, 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 blah. And they are saying, I don't know about these gun guys. That's an opinion mover. These guys are giving them wins. And one of the ways that these moms marshal their forces is with online petitions at change.org. So they have one going right now, asking people to tell Target to issue a statement telling people to leave their guns at home. So I usually don't do this, and I'm not even sure it's worthwhile, but I decided yesterday, I threw up a petition of my own on change.org. I said, welcome lawful gun owners. And I'm basically calling for Target to maintain its policy of simply allowing whatever the law is in their state, they will honor that. Simple as that. And here's the deal. If you are a member of the True Squad, if you've ever said, yeah, I'm not going to just shrug anymore, sign me up, I'm going to do it, I'm going to ask you to go to this website. Go to change.org, just do a search for my name, Tom Gresham, and in third, fourth, fifth place down, somewhere you'll find the petition says, welcome lawful gun owners. And we need a lot of people to go in there and click and sign up and sign the petition. So you go to change.org, and then you look for welcome lawful gun owners, or do a search for my name, Tom Gresham. You'll find it there. Let's see if we can get a few thousand, maybe 10,000 names there. I don't know what we're going to get, right? I just started it late last night, threw it up there. We got, looks like almost 200 right now. Let's see if we can't double that in the next few minutes, see what we can do. Again, change.org, then look for me, Tom Gresham, and sign up on that petition. What are your thoughts? You going to do it? I need your help. 866-TALK-GUN. Tell me why.
Have you taken your family, friends, and kids shooting lately?
You're listening to Tom Gresham's Gun Talk, and we'll be right back. Want to be a guest on the show? Drop us a line at info@guntalk.com. You're listening to Gun Talk with Tom Gresham.
866-TALK-GUN will get you in here. 866-825-5486. Got a lot of ways for you to communicate. We have Twitter going. I'm at Gun Talk at Twitter. Got a conversation going there about this petition at change.org, if you'd like to see what people are saying there. Also, of course, you can shoot me an email, tom@guntalk.com. And Roy, thank you for that email. Appreciate you signing the petition over at change.org. If you just joined us, I started a petition at change.org to request that the Target department stores rebuff the Bloomberg-funded Moms Demand Action group. They're calling for Target to issue a statement asking customers to leave their guns at home. It doesn't have the weight of law if they don't post it, but it is a public relations win for them. And they've had a series of these. And frankly, they've done it on the backs of the goobers who are doing the long gun open carry. And look, if you support long carry, open carry, and you like what these guys are doing down in Texas, call me and let me know. I'd like to know what the thinking is behind this and how you can define what they're doing as a win. 866-TALK-GUN will get you in for that. Of course, we have the email, tom@guntalk.com. Oh, by the way, we're giving away stuff. Let's see, this week, or correction, this month, we're giving away a Trijicon ACOG. Ooh, one of the neatest optics ever created. Dual illuminated red horseshoe, 223 ballistic reticle, and let's see, a TA51 mount. It's going to be free to somebody who's going to get pulled from the virtual hat here, the name. All you got to do is go to guntalk.com/win, W-I-N, and that will get you in. Also, I'm asking you to go to change.org, do a search for my name, Tom Gresham, Gresham, and look for the petition that says Welcome Lawful Gun Owners. And we're trying to get some traction on this. We'll see. We'll find out. I mean, I think this is the point where we're going to find out, do people really believe what they say when they say, I'm a Truth Squad member? I'm going to not shrug. Well, this is one of those opportunities. I haven't done this before. We'll see what we get out of this thing. 866-TALK-GUN is how you get in here. Let's talk to Paul. He's on line 3 out of Oregon. Hey, Paul.
Good morning. I was wondering about recoil buffers, little urethane inserts for semi-automatics, and I use them in some of my guns, don't have them for everything, and if there's any negative, seems like a good thing to me, and I'll just take whatever you have to say on it.
Well, you know, it's funny. I've looked at those. I actually bought some, and then I asked the makers of some 1911s, what do they think? And they all said, no, don't use those things. I said, why? They said, well, you don't need them. There's nothing there for you. They're not going to help anything. The gun's designed to work the way it's supposed to work without putting this thing in them. If they break up and start throwing pieces of junk all over in the inside of the gun, that could cause you a problem. And their point is, look, just as our previous guest said, when you get to somewhere in the 5,000 round range, swap out your recoil spring. I mean, springs are cheap. They're really cheap, and they take mere minutes to swap out. If you have a good, fresh recoil spring in your gun, you shouldn't, with parentheses, I guess, or air quotes around shouldn't need a shock buffer or anything else. The gun should function exactly as designed. So Paul, and you said you've been using them for a while. Have you, why did you start in the first place, I guess is one question.
Well, metal-to-metal contact, and there's a lot of whammy back in some of those super loads. I have a 1911 45 Super from Springfield, and I put one of those in there. And then the Ruger, I've got a 22-45 Ruger, and it has that little cross metal one in there. I put a urethane one in there, and I don't know how long it would take on my 1022s as well. Don't see anything negative, but apparently there's no positive to it.
Well, and for all I know, there's no negative. I mean, this may be a solution in search of a problem, but you know what? I don't know. I've never gotten the definitive answer. I mean, I thought I'll go to the gun makers, and they simply, everyone I talked to said, no, don't use them. And so I went, okay, that's good enough for me. But look, I appreciate the call, Paul. Thank you, sir. I guess here's the question. Have you used recoil buffers on your semi-auto pistols? What has been your experience? Why did you do it in the first place? Have you had any negatives? It might be hard to come up with positives simply because if nothing goes wrong, you don't know if it would have gone wrong in the first place, or did it not go wrong? Did the gun keep functioning because you had the shock buffer in it? I don't know exactly how we're going to end up figuring that one out, but if you have any experience with these recoil shock buffers, I'd like to get your take on that one. 866-TALK-GUN. Also, open carry, long gun, open carry into Starbucks, Chipotle, Target, wherever. Oh, did you hear this? And now, supposedly, they say they found a loaded pistol at a Target store. Somebody left it there. Really? Do you think by chance that could be enemy action that was planted by an anti-gunner? What do you think? 866-TALK-GUN.
The XDM 3.8 Compact from Springfield Armory is 2 guns in 1. Use as your concealed carry gun with a compact magazine and use the extended magazine for home defense. Carry 13 rounds of 9mm in the compact magazine and a whopping 19 rounds in the extended magazine. To see the entire family of Springfield Armory XDM pistols, go to SpringfieldArmory.com. That's SpringfieldArmory.com.
No matter what gun you have, you want it to hit harder, shoot faster and flatter, and be more accurate. You get all that with the ammunition from Double Tap. Double Tap's experts select the best bullets, then load them to higher velocities while keeping safe pressures. Shoot small groups, shoot farther. Use custom hunting loads in your handgun or rifle. Even fire 2 projectiles with 1 shot. DoubleTapAmmo.com. That's DoubleTapAmmo.com.
Looking for shooting instruction but don't know where to go? Well, we have it, and you can access hours of training and safety videos, which you can watch on your home computer. On GunTalkTV.com, we have top competitive shooters, the best in self-defense trainers, and folks who have hunted all over the world, helping you learn which gun to buy, how to use it, how to store it safely, and everything else you need to be a safe and competent shooter. We also have gun makers showing off their newest rifles, shotguns, and handguns. Doesn't matter if you're a veteran shooter or a complete beginner, you'll find what you need at GunTalkTV.com. You can check it out for free, and you can get full access for only $5.95 a month. That gives you unlimited access to hundreds of videos, and we're adding more all the time. Run the videos over and over to make sure you understand what's being said. Skip around. You're in control. Get smarter. Shoot better. Visit GunTalkTV.com.
The Smith & Wesson Bodyguards. Carry more comfortably, walk more confidently. When it comes to personal protection, nothing beats a Bodyguard. Choose the lightweight, compact, and concealable Bodyguard 380 pistol or the Bodyguard 38 revolver, both with a built-in laser sight. The Smith & Wesson Bodyguards. Carry more comfortably, walk more confidently.
Thanks for being one of the 100 million gun owners in America who support Tom Gresham's Gun Talk. Even if you don't want to be on the air, you can still email Tom with your questions or concerns at tom@guntalk.com. Now, back to Gun Talk.
Hi, we're actually getting a little bit of traction here. You guys are going to the website, change.org, and you're signing the petition. Good for you guys. The Truth Squad in action. Sign up, get there, go do it. Go to change.org, search for my name, Tom Gresham, Gresham, and I have a petition going to ask Target, the department stores, to simply, basically ask them to not do anything. Just let the state laws work. Don't issue a statement saying, please don't bring your guns, don't ban guns. It's been working so far, and I point out in the thing I wrote, people carry guns at Target all the time, all day long, week after week, all over the country, licensed people with concealed carry permits, and nothing bad happens. You simply don't hear of any issues with them. So there's not a problem. What there is an issue that has been created by the goofballs, the open carry goofballs, and also, I don't know if you saw this, they're saying that somebody found a loaded pistol inside of a Target, like on some boxes, in the child's toy section. Gee, if I were going to try to cause a problem, where would I want to leave it? Out of the 24 or whatever it is departments in a Target store, it's found in the children's section. Is it just cynical to think that somebody did that, put this gun in there in the child's toy section as a way of ginning up publicity, fear, scary, get all the mothers out there worried, oh my gosh, my child could have found a loaded gun. We need to get Target to do something. Is it crazy to think that some anti-gunner did that? I'm not saying it was any particular group. I'm just saying maybe somebody misguided, somebody overzealous, somebody just wacko nutso, which, let me tell you, if somebody did put a loaded gun in the toy section of Target, that qualifies as nutso wacko. If it was done as a political statement to try to move the gun ban movement forward, and make no mistake, this is a gun ban movement. Yeah, well, I've been accused of being just a little bit skeptical on these stories before. Call me really skeptical on this one. I'm just saying. Let's talk to Gary, Moscow, Idaho, on line 3. Hello, Gary.
Hey, how you doing, Tom? I would say, first of all, your skepticism is well-founded. I believe that the anti-gunners would go to any lengths possible to try to denigrate the lawful gun owners that we are.
Okay, well, that's what I'm thinking. So what's your experience with recoil buffers?
Okay, well, I don't really have any buffers as much as I do a bolt stop in my 1022. Shortly after I got my 1022, which was, probably 25 years ago, I was at a gun show and I saw this table where they were selling these bolt stops for 1022s, and they showed the holder for a bolt stop that had been in a gun that had shot 10,000 rounds, and the hole was quite elongated. And it said that the problem with the bolt stops is that they're steel, and when you have steel on steel, you're going to have something give eventually. And so I bought this bolt stop, which was, it's made out of some polymer, I believe, but it was fairly durable, and I check it every year or so, and there's no wear on it at all, but there's also no wear on the hole that it goes in. So as far as I'm concerned, at least on that, it seemed to work pretty well. Now, I've never actually had a friend that has a 1022 take his apart and show me that without it, it does elongate the hole, but I kind of erred on the side of caution.
So at least in your experience, it's doing no harm. That's the main thing, is it's not hurting anything.
Exactly, and I did keep the original bolt stop just, in case the other one does break or something, but so far so good. I've probably, put 15,000 rounds through it since then.
All right, well, good. There's a data point for us. Thank you, Gary. I appreciate that. Let's talk to Mike in Houston on line 2. Mike, what you thinking about this?
About the long gun carry?
Yeah.
I agree with you. They're a little crazy. I don't know where they're coming from, but some of the stores I've been reading around here in the local area, it just doesn't sit right. It doesn't sound like they have any gun sense at all. All the gun owners I know would never do anything crazy like that. It's just too much attention, and that's something they don't want.
They just got tired of playing Call of Duty. They had to go get out of the house and do something. What can I tell you?
Yeah, playing that it can be dangerous.
Yeah.
And I do like the laws have changed for concealed carry here in Texas. It used to be that if you had an accidental exposure of your weapon, it was a arrestable offense, and that's no longer the case. So there's no need for an open carry anymore. I don't like letting everybody know what I've got anyway. It just doesn't make sense.
And some people say, I would prefer to open carry. I don't have a problem with that. If you want to open carry your handgun, carry it around, I always say, look, if you're going to do it, would you at least do us a favor? Dress good, which is not bad grammar. I'm not saying dress well. I'm saying dress like a good guy. Don't dress like a slob or a goofball or somebody that you would be afraid of anyway without a gun, as some of these long gun carriers are just slobs. They're not PR savvy. They don't understand the impact they're having. Or, as a couple of people have suggested, maybe they do, and that's their goal, and maybe some of them have been placed in those locations at the behest of the gun banners. If the effect's the same, whether or not they did, they're actually helping the gun banners. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate that. Oh, man. I tell you what, Les Paul George, don't go anywhere. That's interesting. Les Paul. Good guitar. We're going to get to you guys in just a minute. I've only got about 30 seconds left here, and we'll take a break. We'll come back. We'll pick you up. If you would like to join us, if you got a thought on not just what these guys are doing, but the impact that they're having, maybe you have a way of explaining it better than I do, of explaining to these guys how they are hurting gun rights and hurting us. I'd give you the microphone. You just go at it. 866-TALK-GUN. Have you talked to anybody, maybe who's not particularly a gun person, and gotten their take on it? What are they saying? How do they react to these reports? As if I didn't know. They say, those guys are crazy. Well, I don't know if they're crazy, but they certainly are ill-informed, well-intentioned perhaps, but they're not helping us.
You don't have to agree with Tom to participate in the show. Call now with any of your concerns about guns, gun rights, or particular firearms, or suggestions for your shooting activity or personal protection. 1-866-825-5486. Gun Talk is coming right back.
All right, going straight to the phones. Les is on line 1 out of Saline, Louisiana. Hey, Les, what do you think about
Tom.
these long gun guys?
Hey, I just think that this is a lot like, say, taking a fifth of liquor or a six-pack into church. You know, you might could do it, but it's out of place and it's incredibly bad manners.
Bad manners. Interesting. Yeah, I don't disagree with that. I mean, if the goal is to frighten people, and I can't imagine that the goal is to do anything other than get people's attention. Hey, look at us, look at us, look at us. We're going to make sure that we shoot a lot of video. We're going to shoot a lot of pictures. Woohoo! Guess what we got to do? We took our long guns into fill in the blank.
Right. And not only that, I don't mind a guy with a handgun and a holster that he keeps it in there. I figure it's safe, but I don't know about that gun bouncing around on some fella's shoulder.
Yeah, I hear you. Thanks, Les. I appreciate that. Paul, Pensacola, Florida, on 4. You using recoil buffers?
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, Tom.
How are you?
Just fine. Great.
How are they working
yes, sir.
for you?
I've been, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
How are those buffers working for you?
Well, that's the way I look at it. I've been using them for about 20 years, and I deal with Clark, Conval, Quartzit, and Power Custom, and I have 1022s myself that I use, and I put a recoil buffers in all of them. And I also put them in my Mini 14, and I think that makes it quieter. It breaks down on wear, less wear, and I think it makes it smoother.
Interesting. Okay. Well, good information then. You got a lot of experience with them, so I appreciate that. That's what we're looking for. Hey, let's talk to George on line 3 out of Florida. Hey, George, you're up.
Hi, Tom. Just getting right to the point. A lot of what with Open Carry Texas, I think what they're doing is just shooting the proverbial shooting themselves and also shooting us in the foot. And the whole thing where I've got a picture up of a guy in Switzerland with a full auto SIG 550 on his back walking through a supermarket. And if you look at a picture, no one really notices or cares, but that's Switzerland. And it's also the custom over there where they have a military, they have a citizen military there. Here, as you know as well as I do, it's been well over 100 years where people rode around with rifles, on horseback, and even then, before they went into a saloon, they kept them in the sheath. They went in there with their handguns, So I just think
it occurs to me that if the goal was to try to normalize open carry of long guns, and others, I want to do it in such a way that I can get the public to gradually accept it. You don't start off with people who look stupid, scary, ugly, slovenly. I'm sorry, guys, but I'm looking at these pictures of you. You look terrible. If this is a PR move to try to educate the public, what you're educating them with is that goofy-looking guys who look like they just came out of the basement because their computer crashed and their Call of Duty game, they can't play it anymore. Now they decide to wear their sloppy shorts and their T-shirts, and they're 150 pounds overweight, and now we're going to say this is the image of gun owners. We want you to get used to this. No. What they're going to do is they're going to say, no, we're not going to get used to that. We're going to get rid of you guys. If the goal was to try to educate the public, you do it incrementally. You get people who dress well. You get people who speak well. You choose carefully. But none of this has happened. These guys, and yes, somebody called in and said, well, did you know that C.J. Gresham, no, it's not C.J. Gresham started it, C.J. Gresham, Grisham. C.J. has actually been on this show before. Yes, I know who founded Open Carry, and I've actually been reading that C.J. is pulling back from this stuff now. He's saying, we may have misjudged. You think? Oh, man, I don't know what they were thinking. I'll tell you what, let's talk about Texas and carry and covering yourself legally when we come back.
No black helicopters here, just the facts about gun rights and gun ownership. This is Gun Talk.